So you think about relocating to the Boston area, but you need to buy and sell a home at the same time. It sounds like a bit of a juggling act. That's because it is. So it's important to understand the process, your options, the pros and cons of each of those, so you can work through the chaos and proceed with confidence. So in today's video, we're going to navigate how to buy and sell a home without the stress. So that's something you might be interested in. Stick around, we'll get into it. Hey everybody, welcome back. My name is Mike O'Brien. I'm a Greater Boston real estate agent and expert. And if you're a homeowner and you're thinking about making a move and you need to sell your home at the same time, you're probably wondering, how do I do both of those things without sleeping on friends' couches or ending up with two mortgages? Listen, you're not alone. It's one of the most common concerns I hear from clients. But with the right game plan, it is doable. So again, in this video, we're going to take you through the options, the pros and cons, and the different pathways of buying and selling at the same time. So let's officially dive into it. So now the other side of this coin is buying before you sell. And this makes sense for people who want to avoid that temporary housing situation, don't want to deal with the strain and logistics of that. So after you sell your home and you're just now trying to find that place to buy and get the offer accepted and close and all that. Again, it can be an extended amount of time. You don't want to deal with finding housing between those 2 points. Also, it makes sense for people who don't want to rush. So you can move at your own pace with the home purchase and then get your home ready to sell on the other side of that transaction, or even while that transaction is progressing. It makes sense for people who have the financial wherewithal to carry 2 mortgages at the same time and also be able to afford a down payment as well. But for those people who are buying before they're selling and need to include that contingency, that sale contingency in their offer because they do not have the financial wherewithal perhaps to carry 2 mortgages at the same time, I would just say if you need to include that sale contingency, you're buying before you're selling, get your home ready to sell no matter what. So that means getting pictures taken, getting it staged, getting that listing description ready to go, having the pricing strategy ready to go so that your home will sell quickly in its market. So when the listing agent looks at your offer and says, hey, there's a sale contingency here, when is your home going to be ready to list? And you can say, we have everything ready to go. It can be listed tomorrow. We've priced it to sell. And your listing agent, or rather the listing agent, can feel a little more confident at least about accepting your offer, knowing that your home is going on the market quickly and you've priced it to sell. So again, a few logistical considerations when it comes to buying before selling, but if you have the timeline and the wherewithal to do it, it could be a good strategy for you. So you need to sell a home, you need to buy a home around the same time. So where do we even start? That's a question I get a lot from clients, and it depends on a lot of things: your goals, your timeline, your finances, the local market. In general, there are a few paths forward. Let's start with the path of selling your home first and the advantages there. And the big first advantage you get from selling your home first is you get to unlock and access the equity you have in your current home. That's probably no small number. When you look at the home appreciation, not only nationally, but here in the greater Boston area over the last few years, again, pretty sizable. And looking at the national averages, your average homeowner is sitting on about $302,000 of equity right now. And once you sell, you can use that equity for a down payment, maybe a sizable down payment, depending on how much equity you have in your home and what you're able to sell it for, depending on what you're looking for and that price point for the home you're looking to buy. You might be able to put in a cash offer, who knows? So that equity you have, that's a big deal and just make the whole process go smoother and can definitely make things a lot easier on your wallet as well. Next up, when you're trying to buy before you sell, it could mean that you wind up having 2 mortgages at the same time, and that can get real expensive very fast. Even if it's just for a few months, if there are unexpected delays or repairs, all of a sudden a month or 2 can easily extend into 3, 4, 5, 6 months. And now you're paying both those mortgages for an extended amount of time. Selling first just removes that stress and helps you to move forward without that financial strain. Next up is that you're going to just be in a stronger position when it comes to making an offer. Sellers love a clean, simple offer. And if you're able to sell your house first, you don't need to make your offer contingent on the sale of that house. And that's going to help you stand out. Again, anytime you can avoid including contingencies in an offer, it's going to make it a little bit stronger. So your agent can position your offer to be as strong as possible, and you have the best shot of getting the home you want. So those are a couple of the advantages that come with selling your home first. But as it is in all things in life, there are trade-offs. And so even though selling your home first, again, puts you in a pretty good position, you may need to find short-term housing before you close on your next home. So you may need a short-term rental. You may need to stay with family or friends. You may be crashing in the guest room or on a couch, who's to say, but your agent is going to help you negotiate that post-closing timeline. Hopefully you can be flexible with dates, and everyone can be flexible, and they line up as close as possible, so any lack of housing or need for housing is going to be for a short amount of time. But your agent should be able to help you with any post-closing housing needs before you close on the next home, be it Airbnb, short-term rental, what have you. So just know that you have a lot of advantages to selling first, but you may need to find a place to stay in that span of time between closing on the two properties. So no matter whether you're selling before you're buying or buying before you're selling, and all the advantages we talked about, the key to all of this, as it is the key to a lot of things in life, of course, is timing. So if you find yourself in a seller's market, and we still do, it's not as much of a seller's market as perhaps been the last couple of years, but it's still very much a seller's market, especially here in the greater Boston area. It's easy to sell your home quickly, but maybe harder to find that next home or to get your offer accepted because it's such a competitive situation. In a buyer's market, of course, the opposite is true. You might be able to find a great deal on that perfect home, but it might have to wait longer to sell your home on the other side of things. So that's why it's important to base the strategy and utilize those advantages that we talked about, depending on what the market is doing right now. So that's where an agent comes in. That's where I come in. I try and keep a close eye on inventory in the different neighborhoods, towns, cities, areas here in Massachusetts, dates on market, and buyer demand, so that we can make informed decisions and strategize our sale and our purchase, or our purchase and our sale accordingly. Now, whether you're selling first, selling second, selling simultaneously, trying to get those closing dates lined up as closely as possible, there's one thing you have to do no matter what strategy you've chosen, and that's you need to prep your home and get it ready for market for a quick top dollar sale. I can't tell you how many people I've talked to that are going through this buying and selling process, and when it comes to the conversation about their home sale, like, well, I know my home's going to go quickly. That's all well and good, and it might, but while it is a seller's market, it is a seller's market that has been slowing over the last couple months, for sure. So how do you just ensure that your home will sell quick, no matter what, is getting it ready for market. And that means decluttering, organizing, deep cleaning. So making sure that those closets are all nicely organized and things are stacked up. Is it time to go through those closets and the attic to start getting rid of things, either throwing them in the trash if need be, donating them? Again, decluttering and organization are really the names of the game, really the first big step when it comes to getting your home ready for market. Of course, minor repairs and touch-ups. Does your home or would it benefit from a fresh coat of paint? Is there a handle in the cabinet that just needs to be replaced? These little minor things that go such a long way when it comes to making your home look its best. Are you working with an agent or working with a stager through your agent such that you know how to best highlight the best features of your home, and just to have every room and every area of your home looking its best, so when those prospective buyers walk through the door, they are seeing the best that your home has to offer. That's making a great first impression. And of course, everybody's going to want to put an offer on your home. Professional photography. iPhone's not going to get it done. Make sure you and your agent are having professional photography done, and of course you're going to need a killer marketing plan as well that's going to be catered to your market, your neighborhood, and your home. A home that shows well, sells quickly, and it sells for more. So that's going to give you more flexibility when it comes time to buy. Now let's talk about how we can make the transition as smooth as possible, or bridge the gap when the timing doesn't align as perfectly as we wanted it to. So there are a few tools we can use, and one of the tools we talked about already, one being the home sale contingency. So again, you're making an offer to buy your next home contingent on the sale of your old home. Sellers may be less likely to accept this option in a hot or competitive market, but it is an option. And that's why I say if you do need to include that sale contingency, again, just make sure your home is ready to go on market as quickly as possible so that the listing agent and seller can feel a little more confident in accepting your offer. Next up, using a rent-back agreement. So this is where you sell your home, but the buyers have agreed to let you stay there for an amount of time, be it a week, 2 weeks, a month, 2 months, while you shop for, or really more likely, just waiting to close on your next home. So it's great for reducing stress. It just gives a little bit of overlap, a little bit of runway so that while you're waiting to close on your next home, you don't have to find temporary housing. You can stay where you are. You can stay in your current home, get packed up, get ready to go. And so once you close, you can transition out quickly. And again, just great for reducing stress. And it's basically on the premise that the buyers do not need to move into that your home right away. So if a rent back agreement is an option, you can take advantage of it. That can make the transition smoother for sure. Next tool we've already mentioned a little bit, that's finding short-term housing, Airbnb, staying with friends or family. So in lieu of a rent back agreement, you have these other options to help transition from one home to the other. Our final tool here is a financing option. So if you're buying first, you can tap into a bridge loan or a home equity line of credit, or a HELOC as it's more commonly known. And these financing options, again, let you tap into your current home's equity to either cover the down payment or maybe the entire sale before it sells. So you're able to purchase that next place, and then when you sell your current home, you're either repaying that bridge loan or repaying that line of credit, that HELOC. So continuing along the financing conversation a little bit here, when you're buying and selling at the same time, you need to learn your complete financial picture. And I always suggest having an initial conversation with your financial advisor if you have one. If you don't, probably still makes sense to have a conversation with a financial advisor just to know what your financial wherewithal is. Does it make sense to buy before you sell or sell before you buy? And you should definitely be talking to a lender no matter what as well. Always talk to a reputable local lender as early on in the process as possible. One, they're going to help you get pre-approved for the purchase of your next home. They're going to estimate what you can afford both with and without your mortgage. They might be able to tell you also if it makes sense to buy or sell first. And they will understand and help you understand if you qualify for a bridge loan or a HELOC. That's going to help you transition from the purchase of your home and the sale of your old home. So again, financial advisor and or definitely lender, conversations you should have to make sure you get your complete financial picture before you start down this path of having to buy and sell. So as you're having these conversations with lenders and otherwise, you realize you don't need to go at this all alone. You should have a good team working on your behalf, a good team behind you. And so that's why it's so important to work with a pro and work with a good real estate agent. A good real estate agent is going to help create a custom game plan based on your goals and timing. They're going to coordinate all the moving parts, conversations with the lender, showings, offers, closings, making sure everything moves smoothly for both closings. They're going to negotiate on both ends and make sure your interests are protected at all times. And of course, they're going to help reduce the stress for this entire process by keeping you 2 steps ahead the entire time. I've helped a lot of clients navigate this very process, this exact scenario, and I'd be happy to help guide you too. So yes, buying and selling at the same time can feel overwhelming, but with the right prep, strategy, and support, it can go smoothly, it can go strategically, and most importantly, it can go successfully. So if you're thinking about starting to make that move, let's talk. I'd love to explore the options with you and start building a plan that works for you. So you can DM me on Instagram at Michael Bryan Homes. You can email me directly at michaelbryanhomes@gmail.com. If you like this video, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that bell if you've gone through this process before, or maybe you have questions, make sure you drop those in the comments below. I will check those out. And finally, make sure you check out my Moving to Boston playlist so you never miss any of the great videos we put out on a weekly basis. That being said, I appreciate you watching this one today, and we'll see you next time out.